All right, so let's do the highlights. So whenever we, of course, scroll, we have highlights. This gets animated, and this is one component. And then we have the other component, which is going to be animating the number right here. And then, of course, we have a different part where we're going to be sliding towards the left. All right, so let's start creating this. I'm going to go back to our project. And inside of our project, I'm going to create a new directory where we're going to be hosting the files. And I'm going to call it highlights. Again, call this whatever you want. So inside highlights, I will have an index.js, and this index.js, of course, will be rendering the components inside of here. Okay, so I'm going to create a React stateless component, and I'm going to call this highlights. All right. So inside of here, I'm going to add a class name for the wrapper, and it's going to be called highlights and then highlight wrapper. All right. So inside of here, I'm going to create two different components, one for the description, which is the first thing we're going to do, and then, for the actual discount. So, okay, so we don't have this component. I'm going to go right here and create a new file, and I'm going to call it description.js. This is the first one we're going to be creating. So the description is really simple. So we just need a React stateless component. And I made a mistake, called it descriptions, and it's description. Let me fix it right now. All right. So instead of descriptions, it's going to be description. So on this one, we're going to reveal the top part with a fade transition. So right ahead, I'm just going to import fade from React reveal / and then of course fade. All right. Now the right here on the return, since we need to wrap everything inside of a fade, I'm just going to say fade, and the contents is going to be a div with a class name of center wrapper. The title is going to be an h2, and I'm going to call it highlights. There we go, highlights. And then, of course, the text is going to be inside of a div with a class name of highlights or highlight description. And of course, I'm going to copy some lorem ipsum. You can go to lorem ipsum and copy some dumb text. So I'm going to save it. And of course, if I reload the application, we are not getting anything because I'm not including the highlight index and I'm not bringing the description here. All right, we're going to do that right now. So first we need to import it. So import, and notice how easy was this, to add the transition. So import description from open forces close description. All right, and then I make a reference to the description component right here inside. And then of course on the app, we need to bring the highlights component on the app. So import highlight from .components / highlights. Could be highlight instead of highlights, but that's fine. And then of course, since we want to bring the index, there's no need to make a reference to that. And then inside of here, open and close. All right, let's see what happens. And okay, that's fine. So I scroll down and we get the fade of highlights. And notice that right now, the VS Code, it's kind of doing a grayed out on this components. VS Code, actually, it has a few bugs. I've updated this version and it fails doing this. So I don't know what is happening. Never read. And of course we have it right here. But if I close it and open it, let me do this. Well, sometimes it clears the error. I don't know what, but this is a VS Code error, right? This is a bug. All right, so let's do the second part of the highlights. So I'm going to go to highlights, create a new file, and this one is going to be called discount.js. So this discount is not going to be that simple. We're going to do a few things right here. So I'm going to create a React class-based component and called discount. All right. And we use a fade transition and a slide transition from React Reveal. So I will do import fade from React Reveal again, and then we're going to be calling it, we're going to call the same name, fade. Then we do the same thing with slide. So slide, copy and paste, slide. Very good. Okay. So now if we take a look at the final one, we have two different parts, the left and the right. So inside of here, I'm going to say div, add a class name of, and center wrapper. These are, the wrapper classes. Inside of here, I'm going to wrap everything inside of a class name of discount wrapper. All right. So pretty much this one is the one that it's adding the color, and this one is one that it's centering everything. Doesn't matter. So, okay. So inside of here, we have two different sides. We have the left side, which is going to be .div with a class name of discount. We always use pretty much the same thing. And then percentage. Very good. So let me just copy the discount so I don't have to type it. And then inside of here, we have two spans. So I'm going to say span and then another span. Now the original has the span on top with the number and this one at the bottom. So the first one, we will have the number and we will be getting the number from state. And then we will be adding the percentage, something like, let me find the percentage. There we go. All right. And the other one is going to say chest off. So if I reload the application, of course, we need to include it. Sorry for that. Let me import it. So I'm going to the index of highlights and import, I believe we call it discount from / and discount. Sorry for that. I forgot to do this. Happens sometimes. So inside discount, we should be getting the 23%. And then the off. Of course, we're going to be animating this, and we're going to do it through state. We could do it just with JavaScript, but we're going to do it through state. Why not? So the next component, the one in the right, is going to be just a div, and with a class name of discount with not a capital D, discount, and then description. All right. And on top, we have an H3. And I don't know, this is the boring part. We are almost done, and we're going to focus more on JavaScript. So the title is purchase tickets before. Again, this is just practice. You can type whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So then we have a paragraph. And again, I'm going to copy this lorem ipsum. Then we have a P. And then we have a button right here. We have this button. But later in the application, we will have the same button. So it makes no sense for us to create a button right here on this component and then do the same code right here. So we are going to be creating a reusable component for this, but we're going to leave this to the last. All right. So after this, after this discount description, after the paragraph, I'm going to go make some space. After the paragraph, I will adding a div, just a div, with button. We know that the button goes there. So if I scroll down, everything looks nice. So now let's add the transitions first because it's the easy part. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to bring fade, open and close, and I'm going to put everything inside. By default, I believe it's left. Then we're going to be adding slide on the other component. So I'm going to put slide, chop everything, put it inside, and then of course I'm going to say I want our right transition. So okay, we get the fade and then we get the right. So looks nice. So now what we need to do, I need to animate this number, and we're going to do this through state, not just maybe JavaScript. So I'm going to go right here and create a state. State equals open and close. And I need to say when the discount starts and when the discount is going to end, It's going to animate from 0 to, 30%. So the first state is going to be discount and then start. and it starts at 0. Then pretty much the same thing, but it's going to say discount end, and it's going to start, it's going to stop at 30. So what I want to do, and if you notice, whenever the application loads, this fade transitions takes some time. This transition of the fade takes a time. So what happens if I trigger the animation of the 0 to 30 when the component starts, and not when this, this component, this part of code starts fading in? So we are at the top. Let's, try to simulate this. If I reload the application, this of course will trigger and it will start that discount, that animation with a number. And by the time we reach this part, we've already have the 30, makes no sense. So what we need to do, we need a way to trigger that animation, that function, only when we have the component revealed already. So again, just like before, this library, it's really, really good. They give us a callback. So after everything gets revealed, or this component, this element gets revealed, we can run a callback function. And this calls on reveal, just like this. So on reveal, we can trigger whatever function we want. So we're gonna just trigger a function called this percentage. Again, call this whatever you want. Percentage, no, percentage. All right, so we don't have this function. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna say percentage open and close. So the main, what this function is gonna do, and let me make it like this. What this function is gonna do is gonna check if the discount start equals to the discount end, and we're gonna be updating the discount start. And this is what we are gonna be rendering right here. This is what we're gonna be doing. And it seems like I got an error, this dot percentage. It's because I never saved it. Now, if you save it, there you go. So what I can do, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna show you with code, simpler. So first, we're gonna check if the discount start, it's greater than the discount end. If it's not, we're gonna update the state with discount start plus 1. Really simple. So okay, so I'm gonna say this dot state dot discount start. It's less than this dot state dot discount end. All right. And if it's, of course, if this condition goes true, we're gonna go right here and set the state of the new value on discount start. So discount start equals this dot state dot discount start plus 1. All right. I could do this a lot smaller, but I'm going slow on the first project. I'm going just easy. So of course, whenever the fade gets revealed, the element gets revealed, we will run the function. The function will go true because 0 it's not greater than 30, and it will be updating the states with 1. So on the next render, discount start is going to be equal to 1. All right. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say this dot state discount, discount start. So we should be getting 0, and after the render, we're going to be getting, of course, we're going to be getting 1 because we are adding 1 to the mix. So if I go fade, we have 1. Okay, and I'm going to add the percentage. So the page reloads, we get the fade in, and we do the callback, and we're just getting 1. But the thing is that we need to get 30. So we need to run this function, right? As many times we need to reach the number 30. And of course, when we do this, when we set state, we're updating the state so the application gets re-rendered or gets updated. So we can grab the component did update and run this function again if we really need to. So, okay, so it's gonna be set. I'm gonna add a set timeout because I need to kind of wait a little bit of time before we can update the number so we can, see the transition. So it's going to be really small. Okay, I'm going to show you why in a second. So if I do this dot percentage, whenever the component updates the first time, we're going to run it again. Now it's going to be 2. Then we're going to run it again. It's going to be 3, then 4, then 5, until we reach 30, and we are not updating the state anymore, so this component did update will not run anymore. Okay, so I'm going to save it, reloads the application, and we get it. Now this 30, it's the amount of time that's going to take for the animation from number to number, which actually is not an animation, but looks like an animation. So if I put 300, the transition is going to be real slow. Look, yeah, that is it. That's why. So that's why we use 30, and that is it. So this component, it's pretty much done. So the next one is going to be the pricing. And on this one, we have a few interesting things. But before we start doing this, I'm going to do the buttons. And this button, we will be using this on this one. So we will create a reusable component with the button right here. So let's go to the next section and just do that.